right, let's get a check on what's playing out in the global side of things. And we have Ini John McCraw with the details. Good to have you, Ini. Good morning.
Good morning, Laddie. Let's go straight to what's happening in the global space. We see S&P Global Asia sector PMI data be revealed. Remember, on Monday, we did tell you those data that we're expecting for this week. A lot of them came out today, a lot of PMI for mostly the Asian countries and Europe. So for Asia sector, it was revealed that 15 out of 18 tracked Asian sectors recorded output growth in October. That marks the highest number of expanding sectors since March. And banking led the upturn, experiencing its most rapid increase in activity in 5 years. Insurance also saw sharp growth, securing third place in the rankings, while real estate maintained modest growth. This strong performance allowed the financials category to reclaim the top position at the broader industry level. For the first time since February, healthcare rebounded strongly in October, ranking second among broad categories. The sector data showed renewed growth in healthcare services activity and improved performance in pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. Basic materials also experienced a renewed rise in production, driven by fresh expansions in the chemicals and forestry as well as paper products sectors, alongside a milder decline in metals and mining production. And machinery and equipment output also grew. New orders expanded in only 12 of the 18 monitored sectors, indicating softening demand conditions. The employment picture remained mixed, with job creation reported in just 9 sectors. Looking ahead, while all 18 track sectors anticipate output growth, 11 saw confidence levels weakened compared to what they had in September. And Hong Kong SAR's private sector business conditions improved at the strongest rate since November 2024. This is still according to S&P Global. That was released today. The headline purchasing managers index rose 51.2 in October from 50.4 in September, marking the third consecutive month of improvement in business conditions. New order inflows increased for the first time in 9 months, driven by improved client confidence and stronger demand across local markets and mainland China. New orders from mainland China expanded for the first time in 1 year, helping to offset weaker demand across international markets. The rate of output growth reached a 1-year high as higher overall sales led to sustained upturn in production. And in Indonesia, the economic decelerated slightly in the third quarter. That's according to official data. This highlights a challenge of the government to boost growth to 8% by 2029. Growth slowed in Indonesia to 5.04%. That's for the third quarter, and is coming from 5.12% in the second quarter. That means that the fourth quarter will be key if the country is to meet its full-year target of 5.2% and carry that momentum into the next year, 2026, which also has a goal of 5.4% growth for that country. Growth in household spending, which makes up over half of Indonesia's gross domestic product, it cooled slightly to 4.89 in the third quarter from 4.97 in the previous quarter, while manufacturing, agriculture, and trade contributed to the third quarter growth. Mining, a key sector in resource-rich Indonesia, experienced a contraction for the third quarter of this year. From Indonesia to Singapore, the PMI there hit 14-month high as business activity accelerates. The private sector expanded its fastest in 14 months. That's for October. According to S&P Global, the latest reading marked the 9th consecutive month above the 50 threshold that separates growth from contraction. New orders increased at the sharpest rate in 13 months. Companies responded to higher demand by increasing purchasing activity, which contributed to the strongest expansion in stocks of purchases. So a lot of data that we have in Ireland. We also have the PMI services, PMI also there. It grew at the fastest pace of 2025 in October, with the AIB Ireland Services Business Activity Index rising to 56.7 all the way from 53.5 in September. A huge move we see there month on month. And this latest PMI survey shows a marked acceleration in growth among service providers at the start of the fourth quarter. Both business activity and new orders increased at much sharper rates than in September. Technology, media and telecom sector, they continue their strongest increase, leading to that huge move that we see in Singapore. In Poland, another good news coming the way from Poland. The central bank will deliver its fifth interest rate cut of the year, the fifth one, after inflation unexpectedly eased to its lowest level since the middle of last year. Several policymakers have signaled a possible pause in monetary easing going into the meeting today. We're expecting that announcement today. But I mean, the fifth time, that's a great one. Let's end in the United States. The Supreme Court today, they are due to hear argument over the legality of Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs in a case with implications for the global economy that marks a major test of the Republican president's powers and willingness of the justices to let him push the limits of his authority. The arguments are set to begin at about 10 a.m. EST, Eastern Time, after lower courts ruled that Trump's unprecedented use of 1977 federal law meant for national emergencies to impose the tariffs exceeded his authority. So I'm sure because of the time difference, by close of work today, we'll hear what the court has to say about the tariffs by President Donald Trump, which way it will go, and then to tell the world the powers of President Donald Trump in the United States. Well, that's it for Global News.